going on, Jerome's? The Minnesota Vikings 2025 draft class didn't have a ton of picks. Came into the draft with 4, eventually ended up with 5 with a trade down. But overall, like Donovan Jackson, who he is for real at left guard, Ty Felton, speedy on the outside, as well as yards after the catch dynamo. Just like he is extremely dangerous, like a short intermediate route. All of a sudden he breaks a tackle. Yeah. Tiered Ingram Dawkins and some depth to the pass rush, as well as sets the edge pretty nicely. A physical freak with huge upside. Kobe King, a 2-down thumper linebacker, great special teams guy. Gavin Bartholomew, solid tight end 3. Also remember, the Vikings second, third, and fourth round picks helped get Diamond Dallas Turner, as well as a little trade down, as well as getting more picks, brought you Sam Howell. So overall, I mean, the draft class, it was very unorthodox due to the circumstances, but I think the Vikings nailed one day one starter in Jackson, a high-end contributor in Felton, and maybe a eventual starter, and same thing with Dawkins as well. But long story longer, of course, it's not what we think at a hat. It's about trying to get some respect from the national media jabroni haircuts, and it's hard to do. All right, so Mike Sando over at The Athletic, again, yes, The Athletic of Rossini, Chase Daniel, as well as Mike Silver, just great, man. Mike Sando was really good at this. So before the draft, free agency, after the draft, all this stuff, he polls anonymous NFL executives, and they get some real dirt, get some real poop, and it's pretty good stuff. Execs unfiltered thoughts on NFL draft for every NFC team. Giants, Bears get high marks. Whatever. For the Vikings, with the draft class there, this is what Sando wrote. The Vikings quarterback situation has dominated this offseason, complete with some Aaron Rodgers intrigue. Of course, since it's The Athletic, they can't not talk about Rodgers and the Vikings, even though it's such a non-story. Whatever. But after Minnesota acquired Sam Howell from Seattle to back up 2024 first-round pick J.J. McCarthy, all is finally settled, right? You know what's going to happen, and exec who wasn't high on McCarthy asked, J.J. is going to get banged up, and Howell is going to walk in there and become the next Sam Darnold. So, trying to think who that was. Someone who's not in on McCarthy. So, someone who obviously hates greatness. Someone who's probably jealous that he doesn't have McCarthy. I'm going to guess this was Bears GM Ryan Poles, right? Because, I mean, Caleb is still going to be high variance. We'll see. I'm rooting for him, but not really. And McCarthy would have made so much sense. He's the suburban Chicago kid, but it's okay. Let him hate. Riri. Stop, said another exec. There's no comparison. JJ will be really good, and the coach, Kevin O'Connell, will make sure he is good. Thank you. Finally, just a smidgen of sanity in there. Also, were these two guys in the same room? So he's telling the other one to stop, or was Sando relaying the first quote to the second guy? Probably the latter, right? Next. Talk about the draft class. As for the draft itself, the Vikings came to bolster their offensive line, taking Donovan Jackson, the third of 3 guards selected in the first round after Tyler Booker at 12 to the Cowboys, Gray Zabel 18 to the Seahawks. I would probably pick Jackson first of the 3, an exec said. He has played left tackle. He may be a better guard. The versatility and athleticism gives them options up front. He can probably play anywhere. Well, not exactly 1-for-1, but yeah, Donovan Jackson, 2.5-year starter at left guard, had to kick out to left tackle because not only did Josh Simmons get hurt, but the backup got hurt too, right? But Jackson fared well at left tackle. I just don't think that that's going to be his long-term thing, especially with Darisaw in that mix. But what's interesting is that the 3 guards taken in the first round, and we liked all of them. Right, and Tyler Booker, I know people said that Booker didn't fit the scheme. Change the scheme, all right? And Zabel and his versatility, although making that big jump from NDSU to the NFL, I mean, positional flexibility, maybe Zabel eventually plays center for the Seahawks, who knows, all right? But Jackson, I mean, the Jackson pick, you could say that maybe they forced it because, there's a huge drop-off at guard there. But like I said, not really, because if the Vikings didn't take Jackson, I think that the Texans would have sticked and picked and took Jackson at 25, not taking the Giants trade-up deal for Jackson Dart. Sorry, I got myself. And specifically for the Vikings, I do think that Jackson is a 1-for-1 good to go, because if the Vikings want to stick with the outside zone, I mean, Jackson obviously is very well versed in that. He's got a great anchor, as well as he does have experience of blocking man gap as well. So I think that it worked out the best. And, the Cowboys, obviously love Booker at 12. The Seahawks, I think Zabel fits in very nicely, protecting, slinging Sammy Darnold, a.k.a. America's quarterback. And Jackson, getting him at 24, sometimes it just works out, right? And it really is style makes fights sort of deal in terms of best of the three. I mean, certainly could have that conversation. The Vikings also got the 14th receiver in the draft, taking Ty Felton in the 3rd round. Felton seen by some as the top special teams gunner in the class. Woo. It might be best known for clocking 4.37 40. He doesn't look that fast running routes, an exec said. He runs down inside and takes hits, and then when he gets the ball in his hands, he looks 4.37. All right, and so that's sort of faint praise there, but. Now, the whole thing about him, well, he may be a really good special teams gunner. I think that even though his return game was limited at Maryland, I think that he certainly can bring that to the table with the Vikings. And with the receiver room, I think that Felton could make his mark early and often, because even though Naylor's going to have a role, Addison is Addison, but he's going to have that 3-game suspension. I think that the Vikings drafted Ty Felton not only to bolster the depth, but also give them options. Because what if the Vikings don't re-sign Addison? What if they eventually trade him? Right? And also, what if they don't re-sign Naylor? What if Rondale Moore doesn't recover from his injuries? Right? So I think Ty Felton was a fantastic value at that point. Even though, well, we had a 4th-round grade on him. He's the last pick of the 3rd round. Get over it. And Felton, the more you scratch Felton's lotto ticket, he's way more than just a straight line speed guy. Like, I love Speedy Naylor, but that's essentially what he is, straight line speed guy. And Felton, Felton is a lot of fun, and it's not a great one-for-one comparison, but he kind of gives Percy Harvin vibes just a little bit in terms of he's very good after the catch. And, obviously he's very lean, so he's not really built like a, sort of a squatty running back like Percy Harvin was, but he'll take that little bubble screen, he'll take that short pass, and he'll just go. All right, and that's what Percy Harvin did so well. Obviously, Percy was a great return man as well. So I think Ty Felton can certainly do that. There's a reason why Keenan McCardle was banging the table for Ty Felton, man. So that's right. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. The Athletics' Mike Sando actually assembled some positive things about the Vikings. I know it's crazy because of his publication. Yeah. Let's know your thoughts, our thoughts, their thoughts, everyone's thoughts. Skol, production value.